First of all, usually I start out with a slide of conflict of interest, this disclaimer slide. But I have received money from 255 different biotech and small, mid-size, and large pharmaceutical companies, so it just wouldn't fit a slide today. So believe me, I'm just biased in every possible direction there is in this field. Today, even though my thunder was stolen just a minute ago, I want to just briefly introduce you to clinical research and what a clinical research organization as TFS is doing. Just a small talk about TFS, and maybe if I could give you a slight glimpse into the future of clinical research, I will be happy to do so in this 15 minutes. All right. So, as we learned from Kirsten's presentations, it's extremely costful to produce a pharmaceutical. It was about 10 billion Danish kroner from early development to you have a registered product. So that's a lot of money. Do you have any idea on how expensive or what part of the resources are allocated to the clinical research? This part? Any healthy volunteer among the audience? Normally we do use informed consent. Today I will make an exception. We'll have a non-volunteer. Any idea? Yes, you feel brave? Much more than half. That's close enough. Thank you for a brave answer. It's 65%. 65% of the resources utilized for producing a pharmaceutical is within the clinical part, right? I have a master's of pharmacy from Copenhagen of University and a doctor's of pharmacy from University of Colorado. I learned this part, I studied this part on the left side of the slide because that was interesting, that was sexy, that's what we did. And now I'm working here. It's not to tell you that I'm incompetent at what I'm doing, I took a wrong turn. It is to tell you that there's a whole world within the clinical research. It's also to tell you that if you're a person and you have a solid academic acumen and there is something that you really would like to do, it's always possible. So even I could start working for the clinical research. So back to the clinical research. As you know, probably many of you is divided into the clinical phase 1, 2, 3. Then you have the registration and the approval for marketing. And then you have all these post-marketing analysis and health economics and things like that. And at TFS, we're only working in the right part here. About 70% of our work is in the clinical phase, and 30% of our work is post-marketing work. That's what we do. So it's a good business. Yes, it is. It's a good business, and it is increasing. And I could share with you some of the drivers for this business. Some of them you might already know. The obvious, we have healthcare growing share of GDP, and particularly among the emerging markets. And being in a global organization, this is interesting to look at the emerging markets as well. I will address the Danish market later in the presentation, so don't worry. The obvious, we have an aging population. It put pressure on the healthcare system as well. Increasing pressure from regulatory agencies. They want more documentation. They want more documentation and efficacy and cost as well. So the payers, they demand not only evidence that this molecule or drug has an effect on an indication, you also need to tell how much effect and what is the socioeconomic impact of putting this drug on the market. Some of the drugs, it's 500,000 kroner per patient per year. So obviously, they want documentation more and more in this respect. We also see consumers, empower consumers, putting demand on the healthcare system, and particularly the old yuppies from the 68 generations, persons like my parents. They don't put up with shit. They want the best treatment ever, and they Google and a member of patient associations update all their symptoms, and then they go to the doctor with this, slides and setting demands, and putting a lot of pressure also in the future on the healthcare system. Believe me, Okay, so just a few key facts. This is the development globally in different phases of clinical research throughout the last 2 years, 24 months, where the preclinical phase, phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 trials. And even though we don't do anything preclinically in TFS, it is sort of feeding the chain for studies in phase 1, 2, and 3. And you don't have to be a professor in mathematics to see that this curve is just going boom. So a lot of activity in clinical research, and it will just increase. So what are they doing? What kind of studies are we looking at? And I would hate to be an echo, or I would love to be an echo of Kirsten to emphasize that it's within oncology right now that things are moving extremely fast. So look at this slide again. This is all the indications of studies globally, and as you can see, more than 50%. I should have be taller. More than 50% are within only three therapeutic areas. It is oncology, it's CNS, and it's infectious diseases. Only 10, 20 years ago, it was completely different. It was cardiovascular and metabolism. It was lifestyle diseases. It was lowering cholesterol. It was lowering blood pressure. It was lowering blood sugar. A lot of research was in it because of money, as Kirsten said, because of money, right? The companies, they saw these lifestyle diseases, a patient in treatment, long life treatment, it's good economy, right? Now all the companies, most of the companies are hit by LOE, loss of exclusivity, so generics are filling up the market and sort of eroding the commercial interest you have there. But now it's within oncology, it's within CNS, and it's within infectious diseases, and yeah. You could see from the speaker list as well that's also where things are happening. And this is going to be, I think you will look back, maybe you will look back at this day and listen to what we said, that things will change within oncology. It's not just, a couple of decades ago, the best recommendation any doctor could give a newly diagnosed breast cancer patient was, don't buy green bananas, right? Nowadays, you die with the disease, not after the disease. That's at least the aspiration. But there is still a lot of unmet need and a lot of resources canalized into this field. So in a few years, things will have completely changed. Believe me, I'm standing here with all the companies, with all the clinical trials, and I can see it. I can see it firsthand. That's what's feeding me with energy as well. That's why I wanted to work with clinical science. I can see, firsthand experience the profound effect it has on people's life and the quality of life with these pharmaceuticals, right, we bring to the market. I see it right there. So I'm harvesting the fruit of all the preclinical drug discovery work that has been done, and I'm just looking at the final results. It's so rewarding to work with. So I can only recommend clinical trials and see these new compounds within oncology and see the massive impact it has on people's life. That's sweet. I'll almost work for free. I'll tell you that. Okay. So what are we going to do about all these global studies running here in TFS? We pride ourselves of being a global company. That's probably a truth. There were some modifications, but at least we have offices in 20 countries, and we conduct trials in 40 countries. So we are very strong in Europe and in North America, in particularly in the Scandinavian Nordic countries. We have the global headquarters in Lund, just above the bridge to the left, and we have offices here in Copenhagen as well. So I think we shall have a Scandinavian company with a solid global footprint. Yeah. I think I have stolen most of the thunder from this slide. We're working with a lot of different customers, many therapeutic areas, 20 countries conducting studies in 40 countries. This is a slide that I most often have to update because things are going really, really fast within clinical science. But about 800 employees. We have our global HR manager here. She will probably correct me soon. And then we have concurrently 1,000 work orders running. So, we're busy. We're not getting bored. Okay, a little bit about Denmark, and then I'll be rushing my presentation a little bit. Denmark is a fairly good country to conduct clinical trials in. It is. If you compare per capita, how many studies we're conducting to countries that we normally measure us up against, Sweden and Norway, for example, then it's pretty good. And it doesn't come of nothing. Usually we say Denmark is a high-priced country. It is, but not that high-priced. So clients are willing to pay for quality, and what they're looking at and what we're looking at when we identify countries for clinical research is some of this. So we need scientists, we need investigators, experienced investigators with a high academic acumen. We have that in Denmark. We have that at the university hospitals. We need highly empowered hospitals, adequate resources to conduct research, right? And also sort of administrative procedures, central lab and things like that to do the same. So private-public partnership programs is key here, and we're good at that in Denmark. We could be much better as well. The infrastructure, databases, think about the cancer register and everything that we have. Patient access, so we need the right patients, obviously, and they need to be volunteers. Not today, they don't need in this room, but patient. Some of the things that I'm pleased with, but not satisfied with, is these adequate resources to medical authorities and ethical committees. So it is paramount that we're working with the medical authorities and ethical committees to have our things approved fast. And I cannot overemphasize the importance that they can process our applications fast enough. We see, for example, in a country like India, it's an excellent country to conduct clinical research in. It's just the authorities, they take 13 months to process anything. That's why usually, you avoid India. And then the last one, high investment in education and high investment in the universities. And here, I'm pleased, but it could be better. We need to invest in the university. We need to invest in you. And particularly in a line of business like mine, we don't have a fancy product. Our product, that's our skills and our knowledge. That's the persons working for us. That's our product, and we like the good quality. So don't cut down on universities. That's my pledge. I think I'm preaching to the converted. All right. So here, who's the old guy on the left side? I need more volunteers. No. Swedish, yeah, Scottish, it was something with S, yeah, Scottish. James Lind, he was the doctor that made the first clinical trial. It was on scurvy. He used 4 patients, 2 that got lemons and 2 that got some kind of nothing, I guess. I'm not sure they were excelled in good clinical practice or informed consent or anything like that. A lot of things have happened since. But basically, the traditional drivers in the CRO is that the reason why big pharma companies or biotech companies they come to us is because we can manage the time required to get these data ready for our clients. With the expertise in that, time is extremely important for these clients. Every day of delay is a lot of money wasted, or competitors are taking up on you. Access to regulatory expertise, key opinion leaders, patients, and things like that. We're good in that. We're not doing anything in that, so we excel in that. So right now, we're sort of a client business partnership. They come with orders, and we fulfill orders. Things will probably change in the future, and that's something here. In the future, I believe more that the CROs will be more like a partnership kind of relationship with the clients. So, we will advise them prior to making the clinical trials much earlier. We'll, advise them on all these things. I'll be brief, sorry. And also some of the drug discovery and new market developments that I see, and this is the secret slide of my insight of working with all these clients and what they do and what they are asking us to do in the future is, for example, gene therapy. That's gonna be hot. There's a lot of unmet need. It's very, very, very interesting, and it's very, very, very controversial, right? So it's not a low-hanging fruit, so to say. It's going to be personalized medicine. We're already there, but you will see, and particularly within oncology, we will see a boom here. Nanotechnology, real-world evidence is good in Denmark because we have so many databases with data that we can extract. And biosimilar studies is now all the generic producers of biological medicines are coming and want biosimilar studies with us. That's giving us bread on the butter these days as well. All right. Evolution of technology. TFS, my company, was founded exactly 20 years ago. 20 years. That was also the time when I graduated a university. 20 years. And that time I bought this one. That was cutting-edge technology, state-of-the-art computers, and now it's vintage, just like me. It's devastating to think about. So what I will, my key with this comparison is that we need to invest in the development of the people that we have, like me, so even people like me can have a job in the future. But we also need to take in new expertise, the youth from the university. You guys, you are important for the organization, that we always can deliver cutting-edge technology and knowledge to the customers. That's what we do, and that's why I made this comparison. So I have spent much more of the time that I should have. It's embarrassing. Probably no time for questions, but please, the most clever thing I will say today is visit us at the booth. We have real expertise down there, my colleagues, and you can talk to them and HR, whatever question that's on your heart. Just please, nothing is too small or too big. Thanks.